Okay, let's talk about something real. Let's talk about one of the most confusing, unspoken truths so many of us go through. Just trying to navigate your 20s. It's this decade that's sold to us as this amazing time of freedom and success. But man, the reality? It often feels like something completely different.
And this quote it hits it right on the head, doesn't it? It's that feeling of being totally caught off guard by a reality you just weren't ready for. It's a humbling experience for sure, and it's something that connects so many of us in a way we really don't talk about enough.
So let's start right there with that huge gap between expectations and reality. We're calling this first part an unexpected humbling because that's exactly what it feels like, this sudden kind of jarring crash between the dream we were sold and the life we're actually trying to piece together.
I mean, we grow up thinking our 20s will be the straight line to success, right? You got a good job, you're financially independent, you've got a clear direction. But for so many of us, the reality is just a mess. It's all uncertainty, quiet financial struggles, and this massive, unspoken pressure to act like you've got it all figured out.
So what's creating all this pressure? Where is it all coming from? Well, let's get into the two major forces that can really turn your 20s into a total pressure cooker: the job market and, of course, the highlight reel of social media. So that first big shock, it usually hits right after you graduate. You've got the degree, you put in all that work, but the job market doesn't seem to care. Jobs are hard to find, the good ones want experience you can't get without a job, and maybe the field you studied for just isn't hiring. And when you throw family expectations on top of all that, it's so easy to feel like you're already behind, right from the get-go. And then there's this. You open your phone, maybe just for a break, and bam, you're hit with this tidal wave of everyone else's success. It is a nonstop feed of new jobs, cool side hustles, amazing vacations, and these vague but super glamorous big moves. It's just a constant performance, and it feels incredibly loud. But here's the secret, right? Here's the core of the whole illusion. You're only seeing the highlights. You never see the struggle behind it. Nobody's posting their rejection emails or their business ideas that went nowhere or those long nights where they're just full of doubt. We're constantly comparing our messy behind-the-scenes footage with everyone else's perfectly polished final movie. And all that comparing, it just kicks off this relentless, anxious voice in your head. It starts with a simple question when you see all that stuff online. Am I really doing enough? Then that little seed of doubt starts to grow into this fear that you're just stuck. The clock feels like it's ticking faster and faster, and the question gets a little more frantic. Am I wasting my time while everyone else is moving forward? And finally, it all lands on this one, single, devastating question that can make you feel so completely alone. Why is everyone so far ahead of me? It's a question that's born from an illusion, but man, it feels so painfully real. So that brings us to how we cope with all this. This next section is called Hiding in Plain Sight, because it's all about that invisible, quiet work it takes just to keep it together when you're feeling all that pressure. Let's give this a name. Let's call it quiet persistence. This isn't about some big dramatic moment. It's the simple but incredibly powerful decision to just keep showing up. It's applying for one more job, trying one new thing, taking one tiny step forward, even when you have no clue if it's the right one. This is the real unsung hero of your 20s. But along with that quiet persistence comes another reality, and it's a big one: the immense social pressure to just project this image of being okay. We don't want to look like we're failing, we don't want to worry anyone, so we put on a brave face. And you know what this looks like in practice. We say, I'm good, when we are anything but. We post our small wins to keep up appearances. We hide all that pressure behind a mask of confidence. And it's so important to see this not as being fake, but as a survival tactic. It's just a way to get through the day while you're still trying to figure it all out. Okay, so we've laid out the problem pretty clearly. Now let's talk about the solution. It's time to completely reframe what this whole decade is even about. This section is all about what your 20s are really for. And this is the pivot point. If it's not about having everything figured out, then what is the point? What should the real goal be if it's not the perfect job and a flawless life right out of the gate? The real goals, they are so much more valuable. Your 20s are for learning, and the only way you really learn is by making mistakes. They're for exploring, trying different jobs, different cities, different versions of you. They're for building real resilience, that deep down strength you only get from falling and having to pick yourself back up. And ultimately, all of this is about one thing:
discovering who you actually are, not who you thought you were supposed to be.
And this is the permission we all need to give ourselves. It's okay. Your journey isn't supposed to look like a perfect Instagram feed. It's okay if things take time. Meaningful things are rarely built overnight. And having a slower timeline doesn't mean you're failing. It just means you're building something that's real and that will last.
So let's wrap all this up with a final thought. Think of it as an affirmation to carry with you through this complicated, challenging, but ultimately really transformative decade.
Please really hear this. If you're feeling lost, you are not alone in that feeling. If you feel like everyone is racing past you, you are not behind. You're just on your own timeline. And most importantly, if you haven't figured it all out yet, you are not failing. You are in the process of becoming.
This right here is the new definition of strength. It's not about perfection, it's about persistence. It's about that quiet, steady choice to just keep showing up day after day. So think about this as we close. What's one small step of quiet persistence you can take for yourself today?